Right, Esperanza, do you want to try out the new Pufferfish Eco Bunk? Here's Esperanza checking into her new Pufferfish Villas Eco Bunk. Now, look at that. That's called minimalism at its best.
I'm done working.
We're Douglas and Esperanza, and we decided to leave our lives in the U.S., sell almost everything we own, and move to Baja California Sur, where we decided to start a resort in the magical town of Loreto, Mexico. Please come with us to follow our journey and live before you die. Next on the list is to get started on the cabinet project here in the Lavanderia. And we're going to, if you don't remember, going to build some big cabinets here to replace these cabinets so we have a ton more storage. First order of business, I have to clear out all these cabinets, all the linens and towels in them, and then pull these cabinets out, get everything out of here so we can start building. I'm going to use some big trash bags to bag up all of our linens so that they will not get dirty sitting out here. Good morning. It's the next day and time to get started on building the frame for the cabinet. Now it's really hot today. It's probably already 90, and I've been working for a couple hours on the pool because it got a little low on chlorine because we were really busy and started to grow a little algae. So I spent like 2 hours this morning scrubbing, vacuuming the pool to get it all clear and nice again. We don't actually have guests for, I think, another week. So we're not worried about the pool will be ready when we have our next guest. But we're taking this break to get some projects done. So I got a cutting station set up here in the shade and all my tools down here that I need. So it's time to get started cutting, get this frame put together. Okay, safety first. I'm going to nail this up to start, and then I might reinforce it with screws depending on how wobbly it is. It's just a lot faster to nail it up, and I got a nail gun. When you have a flat concrete floor and a nail gun and you're doing wood, it's so easy to use to nail it up. So right now, basically I'm building an industrial strength, basically like a very heavy duty set of shelves, and then I'm gonna build basically a box around it, so it'll be an enclosed cabinet. Almost got that wrong. This is the back frame.
I wondered what you were doing. I was like, it's so wide.
So these shelves will be long enough. I need a support in the middle. So I'm going to put this in the middle, and then I'll build another frame over that way, and we'll have one of these in the front, one of these in the back, Then we're going to connect them with the shelf supports. Be perfect and super heavy duty.
Yeah, we have a lot of stuff to put on there.
Yes. And sorry for the audio. I know we have had substandard audio in a lot of our videos for a long time because we don't have any external mics, but that's going to be remedied here before long because I've ordered some external microphones for both myself and Esperanza behind the camera. And so we're going to have really good audio for you coming up here soon. So just hang with us for another couple episodes and then we'll get to that. All right, now you can kind of see how this is coming together. Have the first half of our frame nailed up. Now we're just going to continue the same thing on this side. And come over here, I'll show you. I wanted to see if I could nail this into the concrete block because it doesn't need to be super secure, but because this is going to be a big wide cabinet, so once it's all here and it's got stuff in it, it could pretty much be freestanding, but it helps me build it if it's secured. And I'm actually surprised these nails didn't go all the way into the concrete block, but they went in enough that this thing is pretty well attached to the wall here. Now, if I was doing this for like earthquake or something like that, or like real construction, I probably wouldn't leave it like this. The one big drawback of using a nail gun is that a nail gun was designed to be used in a construction environment like framing a house. The nails are held together by wax. When you fire the nails, that wax chips off into little chunks all over the floor. And the problem is that we found out, I never thought about before, but when we did our hidden bungalow, when all this wax gets on this epoxy floor, then it's hot, it's like 90 degrees, you smash it into the floor walking on it, then it gets all melted and into the floor and makes marks, and you have to get down and scrub them with a scouring pad to get them off. It's not easy. So we're trying to be proactive. Esperanza is sweeping up all the wax as I make it, and hopefully we can keep this floor from getting really nasty, because we learned our lesson the last time. So a couple other things I try to do. I try to pay attention to what sizes of wood I'm going to need going forward so that I minimize my amount of waste. If you don't pay attention to that, you can end up having a lot of bigger waste pieces. So I know that I need some longer pieces. So instead of cutting like this into two short pieces, then ending up with a piece I can't use, I'm going to cut one short piece out of each of these, and that'll leave me a piece long enough to do the long section I want to do. Also, when you got crappy wood, which we got crappy wood because wood is not great down here, I look at it, and a lot of times it will be straight for maybe a third, and then it'll bend, and the bend will be somewhere around the third point. So I look for where the bend is, and I try to make my cuts so that I cut through the bend, so then you end up with two sections that you can use that are pretty straight. So you can get straight pieces out of a bent piece if you are careful and make your cuts carefully. Always look down the blade. This guard, come over here and take a look. This guard has slats in it. So you can look directly through the guard and see where the blade is going to actually touch your wood. Got the whole frame built, nice and sturdy. So now all you gotta do is put the cleats that will hold the shelves, and then we'll be ready to put shelves in here. So as you can see, we're not working on the cabinets anymore. It got really hot, and I've been working since like 5 in the morning. So we decided to cut it off and take a pool day for the rest of the day because we don't have any guests here and we can enjoy our beautiful Pufferfish Villas pool here.
It feels amazing.
Yes, especially like it's around 90 degrees and it is so nice here in the pool. The pool is, I think, like 86, 87 degrees. Perfect temperature to cool off.
Yeah.
And you could be here too. So if you're looking for like a perfect place to go on vacation, cool off with a beautiful pool,
Yes.
this is it. Pufferfish Villas. Well, good morning. I'm headed down to the Lavenderia here to get started on the rest of the cabinet project this morning. And it's already warming up here. It's probably about 80 degrees, a little over, but have to get started here soon so that we can get done for today before it gets to be super hot. There's lots of different ways to lay this out and cut it. You know, they make different rigs like Festool, and other rigs to do super straight cuts. And they also, you could, if you had a big table saw and a big, huge platform around it, you could do full sheets on that. No way I can do full sheets on my little table saw. And I don't have any of those fancy Festool or other cutting kits. And honestly, for shelves that go into here, they don't have to be 100% accurate. This is super fast and easy. Just chalk line it out, cut it with the circular saw, you're good to go. Now, one other thing I do is I have sawhorses. They're wood sawhorses, and I don't want to cut through the tops of them. So I put my sacrificial 2x4s on top of those. These have already been cut tons and tons of times, and that way then I can just set my saw, take my saw when it's unplugged, or you could get your fingers into the blade, and you set the blade up, look on the bottom, get your blade so it's just through the material, lock it down, and now you'll make a cut, and it'll just barely cut a little bit into these 2x4s, but not enough, and then you can keep the whole sheet flat. Now, even if you have really thin material or you're doing a lot of cuts, I have used a sacrificial sheet where you take a whole sheet, put it down, that becomes your cutting table, and that sheet's going to get destroyed because you're going to cut slices all through it, but then you get a full sheet, table to cut on. But for thicker material like this works fine and makes it easy to cut.
Sacrificial, is that the correct word for this?
It actually is, because you're sacrificing that sheet. You're going to have to throw it away or use it for firewood. You're not going to be able to use it for anything else. So you're sacrificing a lot of times expensive sheet of material to make it easier.
Just sounds like a really scary word.
I think that's the official term.
Okay.
Safety first. This skill saw actually threw a chunk off of a piece of OSB, oriented strand board, that I was cutting, that punctured my cornea when I wasn't wearing any safety glasses or anything. So I don't want to do that again because it was horrible having a punctured cornea. So I always wear my safety glasses now. Now, when you're cutting sheet material, a lot of people have different methods. They give you this, on this saw, they give you this handle up front to help you steady it. That is not as accurate for me. I like to put my hand down on this plate and kind of run it along with the material because you get a little friction and it helps to keep the front of the saw from walking back and forth.
Is that safe?
Yeah, because you're not going to get your hand all the way into the blade. So it's right over here on the edge. I just use it right here on the edge.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to go get that saw.
You want to run and I can time you?
No, I don't want to run because I'm really tired from yesterday, and I don't want to get tired out before I finish today, so I'm going to walk.
All right.
All right, I'll run.
You probably shouldn't have ran with a saw on the way back.
That's what they call the Blade Runner.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, it's about 30 seconds if you want to know.
I was never a runner, so. And since your saw blade is a circle, when you cut, the top cuts farther than the bottom, so you end up with a piece that's not cut out. So now the question is, do we need further reinforcement, or will that be enough for sheets and towels and all that? Let's see. How much does it go down when I get up here?
It's a little bit.
And I weigh 160, 165 pounds, and it's barely going down. There's no way there's going to be 160 pounds of towels on one shelf.
Why don't we make these bunks and we can rent these out too?
Perfect. You want to come stay in Pufferfish Villas economy bunks?
Economy.
Because we're going to put another one here. So, so this is going to be like your distance right here. It's like calming, like you're back in the womb.
Oh my goodness.
We'll make you a great deal on a Pufferfish Villa economy accommodations here in Loreto. You can sleep. The hum of the pool pump will keep you, just lull you to sleep at night. Maybe some people are doing their laundry. Be awesome. All right, I don't think we need any further reinforcement. These are gonna be strong enough. But let's get the rest of these cut out, and then Esperanza is going to sand this front edge over so that it's rounded and it won't catch anything when you put things in and out. And we'll probably do just the top side of just this top edge to just so there's nothing to catch. All right, Esperanza, do you want to try out the new Pufferfish Eco Bunks? Oh, I can try it out.
I'm a little worried.
All right, here's Esperanza checking into her new Pufferfish Villas Eco Bunk here at. Now, look at that. That's called minimalism at its best.
I'm done working.
Okay, we have the shelves all in. You can see. And we don't have the top on yet. That's going to be 1/2 inch. But all the shelves are in. And on this side, because I didn't want to buy 3 more sheets of plywood at $50 a sheet, I ended up using a cut sheet. And then I had to frame this up, whereas this doesn't need to be framed up because the 3/4 is strong enough to hold the weight. But because I got this cut here, I had to frame up a frame. It's a lot cheaper to just frame this up than to get more sheets so I can get full sheets in there. So Esperanza did all the sanding. I did all the cutting. And now we are to the next point.
Sweaty.
We are very sweaty. It's warm.
Yeah.
So next will be to build the box around it, basically to turn these shelves into a cabinet that's enclosed. Now we got all the sheathing ready for the outside of the cabinets. So we're going to nail it on with the finish nailer. Super easy this way. And nice and clean look. Now I gotta get this top somewhere. This bunk is gonna be half off because it's gonna be real hot up here with the roof right up here. It's hot up there. If you had heat vision, you'd be able to see it's probably like 100 degrees up there, right on that metal roof. All right, we got everything except the face frame. So I gotta put on the face frames that'll go around, cover all this, and then make a nice square opening for the doors. And then the doors will mount to that. We'll have double doors on each side. So we're getting pretty close to being done. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm back down here for day 3 of the main construction of our shelving unit down here in our cabinets, because we're going to put face frames and doors on them today. And hopefully we can finish up all the construction today, and tomorrow will be painting, which I don't really like painting, but there's a lot of painting to do here. We're going to paint these white so they're nice and clean. Esperanza won't be working with me today. She was helping me out the last couple days, really helped out with these big sheets of plywood, wrestling them around, and she did all the sanding work on these shelves to get all the edges cleaned up so they aren't going to catch on any of the linens or anything. But Esperanza overdid it a little bit yesterday. I think she also got a little bit of heat exhaustion. Luckily, it didn't get super bad, and she's able to recover, but definitely she shouldn't be out here today. After you've had that and you've gotten sick, you need to rest for several days to kind of let your body recover from that. Got done with fabricating these pieces and sanding them all up. I've got all the verticals done. There's the 3 verticals. Now those will get attached, and then I will do the horizontal face frames across the top and bottom. I'm not going to put horizontal face frames on the front of these shelves because, again, it's a utility space, so I don't really need to. The top and the bottom is so that the doors will have a even seal all the way around the doors. Now, these doors aren't going to seal perfectly, but we want them to seal as much as possible. As you can see behind me, I've got all the doors cut out and done. Good morning, everybody. All right, officially day 3 of the cabinet project. It's forecast to be over 100 degrees today, so I'm out here as early as possible. Got out here about 5 a.m., which is about when it's getting light now. I had to do a bunch of Pufferfish Villas chores because we do have some guests showing up tomorrow. Now it's about 6 a.m. and it's already over 80 degrees. It never got below 80 last night, so it's still warm. I am getting started on getting these hinges on the cabinets and getting them mounted. Right, I've got a gauge. I got it set to the correct distance to make my mark of where I'm going to drill. That gives me this distance. I'm actually going to I'm going to go with 4 hinges. So I've marked out 4 spots, 1 foot from each side and then 2 feet apart. And now I'm going to start drilling these holes. Go. Now I'm being careful when I go, and I go a burst at a time because this is plywood, and especially in plywood, it can catch one of those layers and rip a whole layer out, and it can just pull the drill bit down with it. So you have to be careful because that could just blow right through the other side. Let's get the hinges on here. Next step here, I put a spacer on the floor, a piece of 1/2-inch plywood so that the door has room to open and close. And it also is going to help to hold the door for me while I'm installing it. The gauge distance and then put in the screw. And now that I have a couple screws in here, I'm going to pull out this spacer and make sure the door operates. It's not way too far off for some reason. Let's see what happens. Now cracking you here is because it's flexing the door because I don't have all the hinges on. But looks like, or actually it was those hinges snapping shut. So it looks pretty good. Operating pretty smoothly. Gap looks good. So now I can do the rest of the hinges and we will be good to go. Okay, I got these doors all mounted and you can see they are working pretty well. So you'll notice that there's a gap in the middle. I'm going to fill that gap, with a filler piece that will sit on the inside of this side of the door, one side of the door. And then you'll have to close that side first, and that will create a barrier here, and it'll allow you to have a fully open area without a center frame style here in the middle, which is what we wanted. These doors are not too bad. They're pretty close. You can look down the doors from here and see they're pretty close. This door here is really warped. It's out about a 1/2 inch. And so I am going to put the backer piece on this door, see if I can help to stiffen it a little bit. If not, we may have to do something else, put a frame piece on this door on the outside. And we'll have to see how these seal up once I get that done. Got all the doors on. And got the filler pieces in the middle so that when it shuts, it covers that piece. This door shuts pretty tight and is in pretty good shape. This door is very bowed out at the top and bottom after I got it all mounted. And this has the panel on it also, the dust panel. But so I've tried putting different frame material on, but the problem is this door is 8 feet tall, and in 8 feet to be able to get that bow out of there is incredible amount of force, and no frame is going to do that. So I think I am going to try to bend this back straight. All right, I got this all set up, and I clamped actually a piece of steel onto there so that there's no way for that to bend. And then I put a little spacer here in the center to give it a bend the opposite way. So I'm gonna let this sit for a couple hours and then take that off and see. Now I did spray this with water. I don't know that that's gonna do anything, but it's worth a try. All right, we'll get back and see how this works in a couple hours. All right, I don't know if you can see this, but 10 o'clock in the morning, 10:04, 102 degrees already, and it is hot. And I've got this door percolating here with the stuff on it, so I was vacuuming out all of the cabinets, getting ready for paint. It's hot.
Yeah, it's hot in here.
And I sliced my ear open this morning, cutting, doing landscaping.
You got a little blood on your shirt. Yeah.
I had a palm frond. I cut it off, and then it fell on me, and it was full of spikes, and it just sliced me.
Yeah, luckily it didn't go all the way through, but it's pretty deep. So we cleaned it.
And now we're trying to get this done before it gets super hot and it's too hot to paint.
Yeah. Well, it's already 90, and it's like 9 a.m. Got some friends watching. Hi, Leo. Hi, Sugar. Hi. Sorry, I don't have anything for you right now. Yeah, later. Really? You're gonna talk to me now?
We are finally done painting, and it's hot. You probably see it. I am sweaty. Esperanza sweaty. Esperanza did most of the painting work because we have guests showing up today. So I had to do a bunch of work since we hadn't had any guests here for about a week. When there's no guests here, I don't dust off everything around the pool and clean everything. So everything needed a good wash down. So it took me a couple hours to do all the wash down, and I did some landscaping and chopped off the palm frond that came down and sliced me up. But Esperanza got a bunch of the painting done while I was finishing up my chores, and we got it all painted. So super happy. It is super hot. How are you feeling, Esperanza?
Awful. I'm so exhausted. I just hurt. I'm done.
All right, I'm taking Esperanza back up to the AC. We are going to rest for the rest of the day because we are just shot. But cabinets are done. Only things left to do, put on the locking hasps, and I've got some handles there, but I want to wait for the paint to totally dry before we do that. All right, finally all done. It is hot. I'm ready to go in and do some work on the computer where it's cooler. But got the cabinets completely installed. Got the handles on them. Got the locks on them. All looking good. Just going to let them dry a little bit longer before I put everything back in them. And then we can call this one done. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. And never forget to live before you die.